I first met Clarence Gilyard about 15 years ago when I came on staff at Family Theater Productions. He was a member of the board of directors, but much more than that, he was a real friend of Father Willie Raymond. And Clarence was present to us, always willing to talk and give advice about things happening in the industry. But he was even more excited about a conversation about faith. He was just that kind of guy. I had two occasions where I went to World Youth Days with Clarence Gilyard. And Clarence loved World Youth Days. And it was great to see Clarence work the crowd. It was amazing that we'd be at this event that had kids from around the world, literally around the world, and they would flock around Clarence. And Clarence would engage them and get them talking, but Clarence always knew how to take a conversation to a faith level. What are you learning about the Lord? Talk about your life. And people just gravitated to him. He had such a wonderful and warm personality, and he was so naturally shared a deep faith and love of the Lord. When Clarence came to a board meeting, we had lots of things going on. We're an organization that does things that have to do with family spirituality and family prayer, as well as creating family and faith-based media. And Clarence could talk about all of it. He was a family man and faith was really important to him. It was important for him to be a father who taught his children the faith, a husband who shared his faith with his spouse. But he could also talk about family and faith-based content. He had friends and contacts in the industry. He kind of kept a sense of what was happening. So he was really a wonderful addition to our board. I tell you, every once in a while, Clarence would call, or I'd see him, and it's natural to say, "How are you?" And Clarence's response was always, "I'm blessed. I'm blessed." And Clarence would say, "I'm blessed," after talking about a play that was getting produced that he was directing. He'd say, "I'm blessed," after the birth of one of his children. But he'd also, throughout the entirety of his illness, he'd say, "I'm blessed, I'm blessed." And I think he truly tried to live with a sense of the ways his life was blessed. And that was a great witness to me. I think Clarence went from being an actor who had perfected a craft to being an artist. I think he became aware of what his vocation as an actor could do for the world after he became really serious about his faith. And that's why, after the success of the series that he was on, he went on and got an advanced degree. I believe his doctorate was in theater, and then he went on to teach at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. But in addition to teach, he directed stage plays. He had theater companies that he was part of. All of that, I think, was kind of a second life that came to him after a kind of rediscovery of his faith that happened at a midpoint in his career. Last April, we celebrated our 75th anniversary of Family Theater Productions, and for that, we wanted to stage a live radio show. We started in radio dramas. We wanted to do a radio drama, and naturally, we thought of Clarence. So we actually hired Clarence to be part of the cast. And I remember Clarence saying to me, "Father, I've waited for years for you guys to hire me to do something, and here we are." So it was really exciting to actually work with him on a project. He'd advised us on projects informally and been part of the life of our work, but we'd never actually created something together. I am so grateful I had the opportunity to be part of that radio play for the event that night, and that Clarence and I had a chance to work together professionally for the first time, and as it turns out, one of the last times for him. I think he would say that it's going to make your craft and your art better. That if you can keep connected and grounded in something bigger than yourself, in the Lord, that it will help make you better at what you do and will give you more of a sense of fulfillment, because it's not just fame, it's not just making money, but it's a real service to the people of God.